There are places in this world that don't want visitors, places where the trees grow too close together, where the water doesn't move, where the dark feels thick. We didn't believe in places like that until we went to one. 4 of us, Jake, Sam, Marcus, and me, were working as interns at the Kennedy Space Center. Rocket data, fluorescent lights, screens, weeks and weeks of it. We were desperate for a real sky, the kind you can only find when civilization stops pretending the night is something to be conquered. We studied light pollution maps, we cross-referenced satellite images, and finally we found our spot. Tate's Hell State Forest, a vast, swampy wilderness buried deep in Florida's panhandle. Miles and miles of twisted pines, black water, and a silence that swallows sound whole. The name should have warned us. The legend says a man named C.B. Tate wandered into that forest back in the 1800s. He went in one man. He didn't come out the same. Some say he didn't come out at all. But we were scientists, interns at NASA. We didn't believe in legends, not yet. That Friday evening, we loaded 2 cars, my Tesla and Marcus's Mustang, with blankets, snacks, and a telescope. A 7-hour drive got us to our Airbnb late. We barely stopped, dropped our bags, grabbed a quick bite, and headed straight back out into the dark. The final stretch into Tate's Hell was different. Paved roads gave way to gravel. Gravel gave way to dirt. Dirt gave way to something that barely qualified as a trail, narrow, winding, swallowed on both sides by dense pines that leaned in close, like they were listening. The air smelled of still water and something older. Cicadas screamed from the dark. And every few minutes, from the wetlands beside us, a splash. Something in the water, something we never saw. With no cell signal, we used walkie-talkies between the cars. Their static crackle was the only human sound in a forest that felt anything but empty. Around 2 in the morning we reached the clearing, and for one perfect moment everything felt worth it. The sky above us was extraordinary, stars blazing like hot embers. The Milky Way stretched wide and alive, so dense it looked like smoke. We laid out our blankets, set up the telescope, tilted our heads back, and just disappeared into it. 4 young men who spent their days studying the cosmos, genuinely speechless. That feeling lasted exactly 15 minutes. Then Sam's voice came through the walkie-talkie. "Yo, you see that? Headlights." My stomach turned to ice before I even looked, because I already knew. Out here, 40 miles from the nearest town, 2 in the morning, no paved roads for miles, nobody comes to a place like this by accident. A pale glow crept along the trail we'd driven in on. Jake grabbed his walkie-talkie, flashed them, see what they do. I hit the headlights. 3 sharp bursts of light. A truck materialized out of the dark. Old, rusted, battered. It stopped roughly 100 yards away. No honk, no wave, no flashback, just stillness. Then the doors opened. Shadowy figures stepped out. 2, maybe 3, hard to count in the dark. They didn't walk toward us. They didn't walk away. They just stood there, watching. And then we heard it. Voices, low and garbled, drifting through the swamp like smoke through the trees. Whispers just below understanding, close enough to hear, impossible to make out. I swept my flashlight toward them. The beam caught only shadows, Spanish moss swaying in air that wasn't moving, and the voices kept going. Soft, patient, sinister. Marcus said it first, "This is messed up." Sam followed. "Nobody comes out here at 2 in the morning for anything good." Jake kept his voice steady. "Maybe locals, but let's move, now." We made a decision, pack up, find another clearing. But we also made a rule. One simple, terrifying rule. If those headlights appeared again, we run. No discussion, no hesitation, we run. Because if they followed us after we moved, after we turned off the main trail and disappeared down a side road in the dark, there was only one explanation. They were after us. We found another clearing about a mile down a side trail, set up fast, said nothing, just blankets and held breath and 4 pairs of eyes watching every shadow. 5 minutes, that's all the silence we got. Marcus's voice came through the walkie-talkie, low, flat. "They're back. The same headlights. Closer now." And then an engine revved. Long, slow, deliberate. Not the sound of someone in a hurry, the sound of someone sending a message. Sam's voice broke first. "Get us out, now!" We ran. Jake and I hit the Tesla. Marcus and Sam into the Mustang. I floored it, the car lurching over roots and rocks, branches cracking against the windows, the undercarriage scraping the ground like something clawing to hold us back. In the rearview mirror, headlights, right there, high beams filling the glass. Never closing in, never falling back, just there, like they didn't need to hurry. Jake's voice crackled over the walkie-talkie. "Marcus, you good back there?" Marcus answered. "Barely. They're right there, 40 miles from help, no phone signal, no other cars, no lights. No sound but the engine and the dark. 4 young people in a place called Tate's Hell, being followed by something they couldn't name. The trail twisted. We took a hard turn, and for one breathless second, the headlights vanished from my mirror. I wanted to cry with relief. Of course they came back, patient as ever, unhurried, like they already knew exactly where this road ended. We hit a fork in the trail. I swerved left, praying it led somewhere, anywhere. The truck followed, and then dirt turned to asphalt. A highway sign appeared out of the black. I looked in the rearview mirror one last time. Nothing. No headlights, no engine sound, no shadows. Gone. Marcus pulled the Mustang up beside me on the shoulder. We sat there with our windows up and our doors locked, saying nothing, staring back into the wall of darkness we had just escaped. The only sounds were crickets and the soft static hiss of the walkie-talkies. The drive back to the cabin was completely silent. We didn't theorize. We didn't joke. We just drove. At the Airbnb, we locked every door, checked every window, and even then, that little cabin didn't feel safe. We've asked ourselves the same questions 100 times since that night. Who were they? Poachers? People moving something they shouldn't? Something stranger? Something tied to the old curse that gave that forest its name? We don't know. We'll probably never know. But here's what we do know. The way they watched us without moving, the way they followed without rushing, the way the whole thing felt less like a chase and more like a game they had already won. That wasn't random, that was deliberate. They wanted us to be afraid, and they succeeded. We never went back to Tate's Hell. We don't talk about it at work. We barely talk about it at all. Some things, once experienced, don't become stories you tell. They become something you carry. These days, when I drive alone at night, when the road empties out and the trees crowd in and the dark starts looking thick, I check my rearview mirror. Every few seconds. Old habit now. Because C.B. Tate walked into that forest in the 1800s and came out changed. I understand that now. Some places don't just scare you. They follow you home.